As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be.
Representing for my brother BMT.
Got my man Austin in the building. What up, bro?
What's good?
Travel is life.
This how we roll. Look, I just have to get off the elevator. Look at it. The BMT shirt on. You know, we represent all the way in Thailand, man.
This shirt is so dope, man. It shows up your guns, fits your muscles, gives you room at the bottom for the belly, and then you repping the BMT brand, man. So make sure y'all pick up that BMT shirt because it's fire. It looks good. He got them in different colors, and I'm telling y'all, man, the fit, it ain't that cheap bullshit. It's a real quality shirt, man. I love it, BMT. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for blessing me with the shirt, and I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, go cop the new merch. Shout out to my boy BMT, man. Yeah, go cop the new merch.
What's up, family? Check out the official BMT World Store. Join the lifestyle.
Representing for my brother BMT.
Yes, sir.
The way it fits. You feel me? All right, we are live. Hold on. Why am I working? Hold on, family. Hope all is well. Hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on. My shit just totally froze like that. Okay, we back. What's going on, family? It is your man BMT in the house. Hope all is well with the family, man. We got a great show for you guys today. Really good informational show. I know a lot of guys are either already overseas or planning on going overseas, living overseas, becoming expats. And I'm going to tell you some things that I've witnessed within my own journey of being overseas for over 5 years, about 6 years, going on 6 years now. And like so many things in life, when I started my journey, you know, the guys I started with were not the guys that are around now for the most part. So we're going to just pick out a few things, all right, not in any particular order, and we're going to kind of go through them so you can kind of have some type of precautionary. These are like precautionary tales. I'm going to get into a couple of story times as we progress in the show. A lot of things happen overseas. So you definitely need to be aware of that. So guys, do me a favor. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button. What's going on, Azriel? What's up? What's up? Okay, what's good? Mr. Darkest, the Navigator's in the building, 4989. Oh, guys, also, let me pin this to the comment section. I think it's pinned at the top, man. We got some new cuts, some new designs on our BMT. All right, BMT World Shopify store. So, guys, make sure to check that out. That's the discount code right there, BMT 2026. All right, you know, we got all types of guys, you know, representing. You know how we do. Let me just go ahead and go through the show some love before we get the show started because everybody's still kind of piling up in the room right now. All right. It's an amazing thing, man. It's an amazing thing. Got a lot of support. I want to thank you guys for all the support that I've gotten. Okay. All right. So here's a couple of the shirts right here. Hold on. I'm just gonna flip through a few of the shirts. Hold on. That's my man out there. Citizen Lou. Shout out to my man Citizen Lou. All right. I got plenty of shirts, man. Guys just been rocking shirts. Matter of fact, it might be better if I just play a little video. Hold on. Let me see. You know what? Let me go through this instead. I don't really want to play a video right now, but let me just show you guys. Hold up. Some of the merch game, man. Let me show you guys some of the merch game real quick before we get the show started. All right. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Guys all over the world repping the travel, the travel brand. All right. It's my man out there. I believe he's in Brazil. Shout out to him. All right. We got guys all in the Caribbean. What up, Keys with the Clips? Okay. We got guys representing all over the world. Hold on. So, guys, make sure to check out the BMT merch store, man. Like I said, and shout out to all of the guys who have purchased merchandise, discount code, all right, at the bottom of the screen, the ticker. All right, shout out to my man right there, my man Joe. We linked up in Rio, had a great time. You know what's funny, man? I remember, listen, man, I feel like I almost died in Brazil, in Rio, bro. We all went out. It had to be about 8 of us. It had to be about 8 or 10 of us. We all went out. I think my man Travelversity, he was leaving like the next day. So we just figured like, hey, man, we're going to have like a little, not really a party or anything like that, but we're going to all just kind of hang out. So it was me, my man Joe, a couple of white dudes, older white dudes and dad. We all just kind of hung out, went around Rio, went to Central and everything like that. And I believe the next day we all caught either the Brazilian flu or COVID. It was one or the other, right? And I was out of there. Honestly speaking, all of us got sick. So I thought I was out of there, man. I was playing old school music and stuff like that. Ended up going to the doctor. It was the worst feeling I ever had in my life, man. Somebody said it was the Brazilian flu, wasn't COVID, but I was sick as a dog. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to our man Joe. I know he remembers that night. That was that was a crazy night, man. You're gonna have some crazy nights when you're overseas, man. Shout out my man Joe. My man Joe, super solid. Also, man, I want to give a birthday shout out to my man Zoo. All right, my man Zoo Travels. Let me pull up his channel real quick, man. We're just going through a few announcements where everybody kind of comes in the room. I want to give a shout out to my man Zoo of Zoo Travels. Let me see if I can find his channel. You guys go check him out. Real solid brother. All right, he assisted me in helping build the Passport Bros app. Where's channel at? Okay, channel right here. And Zoo, matter of fact, Zoo the one that got me kind of a little bit more out there as far as exploring off the beaten path. All right, Zoo be everywhere. Zoo be in the favelas, the barrios, and he be filming too. Now keep in mind, my man Zoo like 6'8" or some shit. This dude like Shaq. You know what I'm saying? he favors Shaq a little bit. So don't nobody mess with him. I've seen Zoo just walk up straight up to dudes with a camera. They don't say shit. He might be in a favela or barrio somewhere. They ain't saying nothing to Zoo. But yeah, as you guys can see, check him out. All right, he's all over Cali, Haiti, all over through Colombia. He's in the barrios in Colombia.
Adobe Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF spaces with AI do to a space for a contract or a few?
So if you haven't subbed to him, man, make sure to sub to him, man. Show some love, bro.
Call me Bucky, niggas lucky that I'm innocent. If I didn't have no morals, I'd be menacing. How a nigga rapping conscious but he ignorant? How he from the hood but still gon' go legitimate? How he fuck a bunch of but he still respect the women. He still rolling this and another. He just got the windows tinted. Homie stab me in the back and that can never be forgiven. In my prime been itching, man, I like your superstition. You can't have my phone number unless we running up the digits. Let me meditate. Just need a couple minutes. Kinda low for me. My girl on this to the big ass.
Am I frozen, guys? Am I broken out?
I ain't looking at the clock, still falling like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm balling like
You going deep up in there.
I ain't looking at the clock, still falling like Brian. Jacket. Let me meditate, then I celebrate. Tryna get the cake, got no take a break. Yeah, wait, grew up in the 90s, we was watching Ricky Lake.
I'm just in here flowing. Okay, hold on, let me come back in. All right, we back, family. My man Keith with the clips in the building says music loud, but yeah, you're frozen. Okay, I think we're good now. My man Kevin Justin says, "What up, BMT? Called me on a night off from work. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you." All right. So yeah, like I said before, man. Shout out to my man Zoo Travels. Happy birthday to him. He's been with me in, I think, 2 countries, Brazil and the Dominican Republic. All right, so check out his channel, Zoo Travels. All right, let me put that in the comments section before we get started. All right. My man Zoo Travels in the building. All right. So let me pull this up real quick. Hopefully this won't freeze out. Hopefully it won't freeze out again. I got some, hold on. Hold up, family. Hold on. Let me see if we can pull this up one more time. And we might do a panel. We might mess around and do a panel later on in the show. All right. Okay. So you see, guys, we all over the world rocking the merch. Okay. Hit that link, that discount code, 15% off. All right. Like I said before, man, I started this journey back in, I was to say in 2020, late 2020. That's when I, started getting everything prepared, putting things in storage and stuff like that. And I moved to Medellin, Colombia. Now, when I moved to Medellin, Colombia, I didn't really know too many people. A friend of mine, my OG, was out there for a couple of weeks, but he had to go back, back to the States. But I started meeting, different guys who, lived out there. Some guys, ex-military, some guys IT, some guys, it was a ton of traders at the time out there. When I say traders, I mean stock market guys, forex guys. It was a ton of them. More or less, when you ask somebody, hey, what do you do for a living? What do you do to be able to stay overseas? Back then, at least, it was like, forex traders, day traders, a ton of day traders. All right. And then, of course, you had people like me that was content creators. Now, we're going to talk about this a little later on when it comes to financing and living overseas full time, because you definitely want to be in a good position. If you plan on being an expat, of course, you want some form of income coming in. All right. As a matter of fact, we can start with that. We'll just start with that. Hold on. Because this is like probably the most important in concerns of living overseas full time. All right. Where we at? So I see a lot of guys fail because they have no true financial foundation. Now, before I get into this, let me say this real quick. It's your life to live. I am not one of those dudes that's going to be trying to, critique you on why this and why that. Hey, you are your own individual. That's the one thing that I don't really like as far as being a black man, because it's like we all got to be the same, or we all got to think the same way. I don't truly believe that. Being out here in Thailand and seeing so many walks of life from different cultures and different ethnic groups, I can definitely tell that, they're individuals too, right? I've met white guys who are super rich out here. I've met white guys who ain't got a pot to piss in out here. Same with Asian guys, same with Indian guys, same with Latino guys. So we all different. So I want to, extend that to black men as well. Because sometimes I look at, panels, or I see certain things, and it's just like we all have this high standards, that, black men can't make mistakes, or black men all got to be the same. We all got to be rich. We all got to be perfect. Can't none of us have no tattoos, or you a pookie, all types of shit. Listen, we different. All right, we're different. So when I say about financial foundation, that's up to you, right? Some guys might lead a country with $400,000, $800,000. I've interviewed guys like that. Shout out to my man Sruba Apatu. He left the States with like almost $1 million. But you got guys that left the States with $20,000, $2,000, $40,000, and they figured it out. So I will say that. But I will say some precautionaries. I will say some precautions, because some guys just fed up. Some guys are just like, listen, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I will figure it out. And that's okay. Okay, that's okay. But I've seen a lot of guys fail at the same time. A lot of guys was in Colombia, they was dealing with the stocks, even in some cases crypto, and the market tanked, and they started trying to, maybe drift their social media audience. All right. It can get real dark and sketchy overseas in concerns of expats who don't really have their financials together. The biggest thing, it's not necessarily about leaving with a lump sum of money. The biggest thing is having money come in monthly, residual income, right? Whether it be off an online job, whether it be off content creation, whatever it is. It could be YouTube. You can have a dope IT job. I mean, a lot of guys who have IT jobs. As a matter of fact, I got a shirt that we're working on the design of. I believe it's home is wherever my VPN says it is. So a lot of guys be with the VPN thing. I've seen guys get fired too with that VPN shit. That shit come on and it don't hook up fast enough. Then your employee finds out that you in Colombia, Medellin somewhere, and you still lying. They knowing you in Medellin, especially for my IT guys that work for the governments and shit like that, or work in the medical industry. Because a lot of times, at least I know here in Thailand, I had a friend of mine who I'm gonna talk about. I'm not gonna say his name, later on in the show, but he was able to get an online job, but Thailand sits too close to China, and anybody knows about Southeast Asia, there's a ton of scamming going on here. This is like the scam capital, and the corporation, the company that he worked for, was not comfortable with him being so close to China. Okay, so he wasn't able to work online. But I told him, I said, hey man, I know you love Thailand, but take your ass to Brazil or Colombia, because they said he can work in Brazil or Colombia. So, but that, I feel like that's more worth it, more so having some online or some income coming in monthly, because you can blow through. Hey, I know guys that blew through $500,000 in 5 years, bro. I know guys that blew through $500,000 literally in 5 years. Okay, this is one of them. the travel, the global lifestyle, the passport bro lifestyle is one of them things where you got to have a lot of discipline in different dimensions, right? Just not the women, that's a big part of it. The dudes be out here, tricking it up, but just discipline as far as staying healthy, going to the gym. I've seen guys turn into alcoholics. We'll talk about that a little later on in the show. But financial foundation, man, however you're comfortable with. Like I said before, I'm not one of them guys that's going to sit here and bash you, saying you need $1 million to leave the States. Okay? Guys, do me a favor, hit one if I'm coming through loud and clear, just to make sure. Okay? I think my audio is good. But yeah, financial foundation is extremely important. All right. And I've seen a lot of guys, they might have 200,000-300,000 on IG or something. They come out here trying to be, influencers or something like that, which is fine. Because like I said, it's a different game. And this is why I say everybody is different. Everybody's individuals. The young guys have a deeper understanding of social media to a certain degree than even me. Some of the older cats. And they know how to monetize it. So I'm not going to just say that, hey, if you got 300-400 something thousand followers, you can't make money, because obviously you can, because there's a lot of guys out here that's doing it. But at the same time, I still wouldn't just bank on that per se. I would try to have something else going on too. Shout out to all my ex-military guys, my disabled veterans, my retired guys. I still believe that's like the best situation, in my opinion. Okay? In my opinion. I tell young guys all the time. As a matter of fact, I've told some of these influencers, I'm like, bro, you're 21. Go to the military or hop back in school or something. And some of them refuse, but I tell them, I say, hey man, the military might be the best bet. A lot of guys are comfortable, or something in IT. Now the IT is kind of tricky, I will admit that. And then you got English teaching, but I know some guys like the English teaching might not be enough money in some cases, right? And it might not be as sturdy as the guys with the IT jobs, like the cybersecurity jobs. What up, 60s player? Okay, we good. So that's the most important. We just start off with the most important is getting your money right. And it's all types of ways. I know guys that have VPN companies. All right. Of course you got YouTube content creation, stuff like that. I just know guys that, have rental properties back home. You want to make sure you have some form of income coming in, because I guarantee you, more than likely, you don't want to go back to the States. And I do know guys who travel pretty frequently, once every 2-3 months. Okay. So financial foundation is key. That's key. That's one of the key elements. Okay. Now, we're going to go with another one. And it's going to get better. I'm telling you, it's going to get good, because I got a lot of little stuff. All right. Even got a little story time coming for you guys. A couple of story times, actually. All right. Overstaying visas. Thinking rules don't apply. Now, this is the interesting thing. Things have changed. Things have changed drastically in the travel space over the last 5 years. When I first started traveling, the visa was the last thing on my damn mind. All right. It was truly the last thing on my mind. Because Caribbean and South America at that time, it was just a fine. It was just a fine. I overstayed in Colombia by, I believe it was 4 months, back in 2021, 2022. I left, went to the airport, the Jose airport, and they said, hey man, they called me in the office, hey, you overstayed, this is the fee. The fee was $125. I said, okay, when can I come back? He said, man, your record is good. You can come back right away. If you want to just, leave and come on back and restart your time, I'll take care of you. All right. So I paid a $125 fine leaving Colombia, going to Brazil. Now, fast forward, I want to say a year ago, a friend of mine, all right, did the exact same thing, and they charged him $500 USD. All right. He stayed over about 1 month. I say over 4 months. All right. So I'm not perfect. But at the time, being overstay in South America or the Caribbean, it just wasn't a big deal like that because you're going to pay a fine, and usually 9 times out of 10 let you come right back. Same thing with the Dominican Republic. All right, you overstay your visa. Everybody overstays their visa by years in DR, and you just pay a fine. Okay, they let you come right on back. Things have changed. Things have changed definitely. Now you're talking about banning. Now, in terms of Thailand, you always had to be on top of your visa. That's probably one of the most important things. That Thailand does not play about the visa situation. They will lock your ass up for overstay, and you will be banned for 5 years to a decade. It's a lot of guys who overstay out here right now. Hey, each his own, but just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. And also, guys, you got to be aware of certain rules and laws when you travel. All right. Like, guys might throw money in Colombia and Brazil, whatnot. You can't technically throw money over here in Thailand with the king's face on it. You see what I'm saying? So just be aware of those subtle laws and rules, even little subtle things like not slamming your door in Colombia. Like, just be abreast of that. Some of those social laws, some of those social laws. Okay. Now, here's another one. We're going to get to the meat of it. This is a big one right here that I've seen a lot of gentlemen caught up in, still caught up in. I still see it going on, right? This is like a two-parter, not understanding dating culture. Not understanding dating culture. Now, we're going to go back to this. Let me go here. Confusing pros with genuine interest, okay? I've seen this so many times. I've seen guys that will speak on Colombian women, Brazilian women, Thai women, when in reality they're talking about pros, which is extremely different. It's oranges and apples, it's basketball and football. You cannot compare girls of the night, working girls, to regular women. And I've seen it so much. This is why I like to do my street interviews. All right, shout out to my personal assistant, Maria. We used to go out in Colombia, Medellin, and do street interviews with regular women so you can see some of the differences, right? Some of the differences. And you will see the reality. You're not going to see no pay for play, manipulation, guys sitting in their rooms with pros and stuff, perpetrating like they're regular females, asking them questions as if they're going to answer the questions as a regular, doctor, lawyer, or just working class female would. All right. This was the importance of me doing those street interviews in Colombia and the DR. And you'll see a perspective. You'll see a broad spectrum. You'll see women that date foreigners. You'll see women that don't date foreigners. All right. You'll see women that think foreigners are creeps or losers back home. And then you'll see women that think foreigners are, interesting, something unique, something different. They're interested in it. All right. But I see so many guys, like I said before, taking in the heart what some of these pros are saying, or semi-pros. I remember there was one that was talking about black men and how it's, black men this, black men that, they all do this and all do that. And I'm looking at her and I'm just sitting here like, chick, I know you do what you do, so you're gonna have a different perspective because you kind of, you're running the numbers up for profits. So the image you have of black men is the ones that are participating in those type of activities. The ones that are not are going to have a different mindset. Okay. But like I said, I see it all the time. I see guys that be like, oh, they love me, they love this. And I'll be like, bro, you've never even been with a regular girl a day in your life overseas. They all been pros. All right. You got 60 in the room, guys. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button. Okay. So confusing the pros that the women really like you, they really love you, when in actuality, they have a financial incentive. I've seen it all the time, especially in Colombia. They're very convincing in Colombia. They're very convincing here as well. But a lot of guys get drugged and robbed because they feel like, oh, I'm that guy. I'm this guy. I don't have to pay or something like that. And they end up getting drugged and robbed because the whole time They just, working on the setup. Okay? They working on the setup. And we'll go to this. Hold on. Where we at? We ain't here cooking, man. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. Where we at? Hold on. We'll go to this. Not understanding true dating culture. Okay? Like Colombia, for instance. Listen, man, Colombian women are beautiful, but it's a very different dating culture than ours in the States. If you have a traditional Colombian woman, you better believe that family has some traditional ass values. Okay? They got some, they're very, religious, like so many other people. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta take them seriously. You gotta take those relationships seriously, man. All right. So you definitely want to understand the dating culture. You want to find out is there some type of dowry system there? Okay. You want to find out what her intentions is. You want to find out how her family handles relationships. I've seen many guys in relationships, and they find out that, hey, oh shit, I gotta pay a dowry. But they find out, oh, I gotta go to church with y'all every Sunday. You know what I mean? Oh, I gotta live with the family. I gotta, go out to the countryside, once a month. Understand the dating culture before you get yourself deeply involved. And that's everywhere. Brazil, Colombia, Thailand, the DR. Okay. Don't confuse the gringo hunters or the pros with the actual women of the country. All right. And the best way to understand dating culture is to befriend a local and ask him, hey, man, is this normal? What do you think about this? Oh, this is part of the culture. Oh, okay. Or ask a trusted expat about the dating culture out there. All right. Now, here's another one. All right. Rap fantasy overseas. I've seen this so many times. Now, keep in mind, some brothers are talented. Shout out to my man, MAB, the guy on the screen right now on the bus with the Passport Bros t-shirt on. Shout out to him because he got some dope-ass music. All right? I ain't mad at him. I bump MAB music. But you got a lot of guys who can't rap worth a damn. And they didn't make it in the States, and they feel like they can make it overseas. Now, when I first started traveling, this little rapper game used to work. All right? This little rapper game used to work. Okay? The guys would tell the Colombian women, hey, I rap, I do this. I got a couple of mixtapes out. I got a record label, all this shit. But now, fast forward 5 years later, and so many, rappers have made bullshit music videos in Medellin and all this shit. The first thing they want to do to Medellin is do a goddamn rap video. All right? Fast forward now, women are checking like social media. They're validating if you like really in the music industry, if you really got a record label. And like I said, some of the music is good. I mean, we got a song called Passport Bros by what's the rapper name? Jay. Man, must be that rapper name. What's the rapper name who did that Passport Bros anthem? J. Cole. My man J. Cole. Okay? My man J. Cole. Oh, let me get some of these trolls out of here. Where my mods at? All right. The Zulu boxing came in again. The little African Zulu boxing slid up in here again. All right. Let me get some of y'all out of here. But like I said, I've seen this so many times, man. I've seen this so many times. I've had dudes ask me to help them, direct rap videos and everything like that. And I've done a lot of commercials, but I'm just so tired of it, bro. Yeah, Keith, befriending a local is pretty mandatory. It is pretty mandatory. All right, I can tell you right now, yeah, Bass featuring J. Cole, yeah, that's a song. I can tell you right now, my experience in Brazil went from, I'll say 70, right, to 150 once me and my man Hobson, got cool and started hanging out. 150, all right, Brazilian guy out there in Rio. So that is definitely mandatory. But yeah, the whole rap fantasy overseas, man. Listen, I know some of you guys bump. I've heard some good songs. Guys have sent me mostly trash ass songs, bro. Guys in their 40s still trying to rap, still trying to make it in the rap game, somehow, I don't know how you're gonna make it in a rap game in America by living overseas trying to rap. All right, but I've seen it so many times. I've seen guys open up record labels, in Medellin and try to sign a little local artists. They don't even speak Spanish. I've seen it all out there, man. Okay, and I've seen guys blow through money, doing studio time, making music out there. That's their dream, which is fine. Hey, man, keep going, keep pushing. But kind of know yourself too, man, because some of y'all music is straight fucking trash. And for some reason, nobody would tell y'all that. Like, nobody would tell you to your face, especially if you like the guy, you're not going to say, hey, man, your music is basura. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's trash, bro. So I've seen that a lot. I've seen guys, like I say, blow through their savings, get in studio time, trying to rap overseas. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I was going to play a video, but I'm not going to play the video. I'm not even going to play the video. But yeah, okay. All right, so we got another big one right here. Bad expat advice online. Let me put another picture up on the screen real quick. Hold on. This is a big one. This is actually a huge one, man. Super bad. I mean, and this in every country. It's in every country, man. All right. Hold on. Throw some more merch out there. This is a little funny photo right here of my man with the Travel Cheaper Than Therapy shirt. Hold on. Hey, shout out to the bro right here. But yeah, bad expat advice, man. Bad expat advice. Not just online, but just in general. Okay? You definitely want to validate the information you get from certain expats. That hookup culture, that I got the plug culture. And in some cases they do. In some cases that do. But I've gotten bad expat advice several times. All right. I've been scammed overseas by other expats. Okay. Just make sure you validate them. Make sure you know of the guy. Just make sure you can kind of validate what he's saying to you. Because that's a big one. That's a big one. Okay. I had a guy who used to wear jewelry in Medellin. He used to wear jewelry in Medellin in the park. And he used to tell guys, hey, man, I rock my jewelry. You know what I'm saying? But he never told them the full story. He never told them how he had been robbed already twice. And he never told them that his jewelry was fake. That right there, I would consider to be bad expat advice. All right? Because guys are seeing you. They're assuming you're American. We're not really, we wear fake jewelry like a motherfucker, but, you overseas, you present yourself, people are going to assume that, your jewelry is real. So like I said, we'll be in a park, he'll be iced out, whatever. And people will ask him, hey, man, you wear your jewelry here? And he'd be like, yeah, I rock my jewelry here, man. I rock my jewelry. I work too hard for my jewelry. But he'll never tell them the full scope of him being robbed, of them running in his house, laying them down. 2-3 times, actually. Setting them up. Girls setting them up. He doesn't tell them that part. For some guys, that jewelry is important to them. Somebody said, if anyone wants to give me crypto advice, listen, man. When I first got to Medellin, 2021, it was all types of traders and stock. I remember it was this one guy who had this trading bot. This bot that made Forex trades for you. So you would deposit money. And the funny thing was, I had such a difficult time depositing. I deposited $1,000 or $1,100 into, I think it was an app, like a little app. I deposited, and the Forex bot would trade for you. All right, it would trade. It would make trades. And I remember my other Forex guy, who was a trader, he would tell me, man, don't do it. That Forex shit is sketchy, and I was like, I kind of, the dude said he made all this money, he's rich, and this is what he telling us. He ended up being a Nigerian scammer, but he used to wear suits and everything like that. So I ended up putting $1,100 into the app and lost it all eventually, So you definitely got to be careful. Like I say, I would consider that to be some type of bad expat advice. I would consider myself getting scammed because, like I said, I lost that $1,100 in like I would say about a month. I just woke up and it was gone. And the guy was like, yeah, man, you were supposed to turn it off or something when you saw it going a certain route. I said, well, damn, man, I'm thinking like it's a buy. I thought it was just, lose some, win some, or, I'm thinking it was working. But yeah. Okay. All right, we got another one. Hold on, we got another one. And if I got any mods in here, make sure you keep these trolls out. All right, we got another one. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest one right here. When you guys travel overseas, depending on your financial situation, some of you guys might be retired. Some of you guys might just have online income. Some of you guys might, have it together financially. But I've seen this happen so many times. When you have free time, you got open time. Okay, this is a big one because I've seen out of all the things that I've seen guys lose their way and fail overseas, this is the biggest one. Substance abuse overseas. All right, I've witnessed. All right, and keep in mind, I drink occasionally too. I'm not holding it down, but I've witnessed guys turn into cokeheads in Colombia. Okay, they would try to tell me, hey man, this is the best coke. This is like, it's okay. It's not like the bad stepped on shit in the States. This is the best cocaine in the world. All this shit. I've seen guys turn into coke addicts in Medellin, Colombia. All right. I've seen, because I got street smarts. I know what going through the bathroom and back and forth to the bathroom and, you draining your nose and shit like that, blowing your nose and all that stuff, touching your nose, I love street smart. So I know what's going on. But I've seen that a lot, especially in Colombia and in Brazil. That shit is heavy. That shit is heavy. They do cocaine like drinking water in these places, brother. Of course, we got hella drugs in our city too. But I've seen so many guys lose themselves with the drugs, man. Me and my man used to try to figure out why it was so many brothers crashing out. And we finally figured it out. Like, we had a gentleman that I first met him. The brother was cool, laid back. I met him on Calle Diaz, right? Cool brother, right? Laid back. We hit it off immediately. We started hanging out and everything like that. And by the end of my stay in Medellin, this guy had totally went crazy. And me and my other guy, my boy Dre, we trying to figure out, like, man, how could he just make that, 180 like that with the personality? And he comes to find out that, we felt like he was, sniffing. He was just doing the drugs and stuff like that. I'll tell you an incident right here. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. All right. This is a light incident. There's a couple of incidents, but I remember us being in the park. Now, previous to this situation, my man's had already crashed out a few times. He was already just going. And I remember, because I joke around sometimes. And, I remember joking around with him one day. And he just kept giving me these serious ass looks. And dude, like, he ain't like the biggest dude, but he ripped the fuck. Like, he got muscle come out of his ears. So I'm sitting here like, all right, dog, I'm just joking with you a little bit, just cracking on you. But I see that you're kind of serious, so I'm gonna leave you alone, brother. But we in the park. This is maybe 3-4 o'clock in the morning. The park gets out. The club's closed. Okay. I'm sitting on the sidewalk, Calle Diaz, chilling. I got my man's beside me, and a guy approaches me. He was like, hey man, BMT, I love what you do, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. The guy had a bottle. Patron bottle in his hand. Big dude. I could tell he was fresh out. He had that fresh out feel. Muscles, big dude, right? And my man's asked him for a drink because he had a full Patron bottle. He was like, hey, bro, I'll give you, a couple of pesos if I can just take a shot. Because the bottle, I think he had the Don Julio, so you can take a shot straight out the shot cup, the top. So the prison fresh out dude starts snapping on him. He starts snapping heavy. Now keep in mind we got BMT shirts. We're gonna get back to that in a second. But me and my man both got BMT shirts on. So my man's snapping out. But my dude is a trained individual. Like he's, special forces trained type of guy. So when you got guys like that, they're able to reel in their emotions and not act on, because they got the training. They know how to, if somebody being aggressive with them, they know how to just be like downplay and say, oh, this nigga just drunk. Okay, you got it, bro. You know, doing whatever. And I appreciated him for that. I'm just sitting here like, hey, bro, like, it ain't like that and everything. Now, my other mans who have been crashing out previous decides to walk up and give me that and inadvertently steps on the dude's shoe. The fresh out of prison dude's shoe, right? And the fresh out of prison dude's shoe immediately checks out the crash out dude. Checks the crash out dude. And the crash out dude flipped the hell out, man. Flipped out. You know, and at first he was apologizing to the fresh out dude. He was like, hey man, you know, my bad. I didn't mean to step on your foot. I was just trying to, you know, dap my man up, you know, before I go back to the spot, right? Because we used to all of us used to hang out at this hostel at night. It was a really dope hostel in Poblado that we could walk through from the park. Okay. So he was just telling me, hey man, you know, I'm about to, you know, head up to the hostel. You know, you do that in Medellin because Medellin is dangerous. You tell your boys, hey man, I'm headed this, you know, you gotta look for me. I'm headed to the house. Anyway, so they start going back and forth. They going at it. And I'm talking about they going at it, the whole park looking, they crowd up, everything like that. And my man got a big ass Patron bottle, but my other crash out guy, he just want him bad. Like he want to get at him badly. So we're holding him back. We're holding this guy back, the crash out guy back. The fresh out dude with the bottle, you know, he just, you know, marking this section, say, hey man, you cross this line, I'm gonna bust you in the head with the ball and shit like that. You know, so keep in mind, now it's 3 guys that got BMT shirts on. Me, my man Dre, and the other guy who crashing out. We all got BMT shirts on, by the way. Not the fresh out dude. All right, so we holding them back. It's hoopla. You know, the girls in the park, they all excited and everything like that. They like, yeah, fight, and all this shit like that. They cried up against us. I think a Colombian girl had threw water on me. You know, she threw some water on me. But that was the first incident. Now, this guy that's crashing out went from, I would say, not necessarily a Poindexter, but a good, clean-cut young brother. You know what I'm saying? And we try to figure out, like, damn, he really crashing out. That was the first incident. The next morning, nothing happened, but the next morning, you know, it's around the WhatsApp groups and Facebook that guys with BMT shirts were fighting each other. And the black men travel guys were fighting each other in the park, even though we try to hold everything back. All right, that's one incident. Now let's fast forward. This is like a week or two later. All right, hold on. Let's get some of these goddamn trolls up out of here. He wasn't a Pookie though. He was not a Pookie. He was not a Pookie. He was a regular brother. All right, hold on. Let me get some of these snitches out of here. The second incident that we had a pool party. All right, a pool party at Pablo Escobar's, one of Pablo Escobar's apartments. So it's laid out, right? It's laid out. And the guy who was renting the apartment, he ended up going to jail. He's in jail right now for, you know, selling drugs, Colombia to America. That's a whole other story. I think I said that in another video. But, and oh, by the way, I'm not talking about anybody in this picture right here. I'm just showing you guys, you know, some travel shirts here. Some of our travel, you know, our hot sellers. So it's not him. I'm not talking about him. You point that out. Because as a matter of fact, let me take this picture down. Because y'all going to be like, oh, you talking about this guy? No, we're not talking about this guy. Shout out to him, though. All right. As a matter of fact, let me show another picture. All right. Shout out to my man's representing. Shout out. This is one of our top selling shirts, by the way. Now, another incident. Once again, I'm not talking about the guy in the picture. He just sporting the BMT shirt. Another incident that happened. Like I said before, we had a pool party. Pablo Escobar's, one of his old apartments. It's nice. It's decked out and everything like that. And, you know, there's some girls there, some regular girls, not pros. You know, regular girls. Shout out my man. He's a DJ. So he's very plugged in. You know, he knows everybody. So everything is cool. It's laid back. We got a pool on the roof. This is an apartment, by the way. The apartment has, this is Pablo, you know, old Pablo's joint. So it has a pool. It has a room, like a whole another apartment room next to the pool. Right? Pool, rooftop. It's all ours. This is not for the building. This is just that one particular apartment that has its own pool. Very nice. I might show you. I might have a video. I might try to find a video and show you guys the pool. I think I got it on camera. I think I might got it on camera. But anyway, so we all there. My crash out guy's there. And I'm talking about substance abuse here. And all of a sudden, he can't find his cell phone. He can't find his cell phone. He started immediately going through all the women at the party. Like, keep in mind, the women at the party got jobs. They make money. I'm talking about nurses. You know what I'm saying? This is just a regular kickback. It's a regular kickback. Okay, with Paisas, Venezuelans. You know, we all enjoying ourselves. We grilling everything like that. This man goes ape shit, crashes out on the women. Talking about the women stole his phone. He's like, y'all gotta give it up. I gotta search out for y'all leave. We just like the DJ, but we like, hey, bro, calm down. Like, it's not that serious. We don't think nobody take your phone. He goes downstairs and finds his phone on the top of the refrigerator. Okay. So he had already, rubbed the girls the wrong way. The girls end up leaving. everybody mad at him. All right. So like, and it's just not him that's crashed out. I've had multiple guys just lose it off the substance abuse. I had a guy here. Hopefully he won't get mad. I won't say his name. But let me tell y'all something. Thais are very good-natured people. I feel like they're some of the most good-natured. Colombians as well, and Brazilians. Everybody's good-natured. But Thais, they're very good-natured people, right? Even if they see guys in these bars kind of losing themselves, drinking every single night, they'll tell them. They would actually tell you, hey, man, you've been to the bar like 3 weeks in a row. Take a break. They'll say that shit to you. Or they'll tell your friend, hey, your friend came by here again last night. He's drinking a lot, right? Yeah, maybe he shouldn't drink so much. So one of my guys just totally, and I ended up leaving Thailand for a while, but he stayed. And he just totally turned to an alcoholic. His speech changed. All right. He started speaking, even when he was sober, his speech was more slurred. Weight gain. I mean, I saw alcohol just turn him into like a slow guy. This guy was sharp in shape, very sharp. You know what I'm saying? When I first met him, I mean, this dude really had his shit together, owned a couple of businesses out here and everything like that. And just slowly over the years' time and him dealing with so many different women, he just turned into something different. He turned into an alcoholic, bro. My man turned into a full-blown alcoholic. And it was one of the things I feel like it was sad. And I warned him several times. I said, listen, bro, I'm not a fake friend. I'm not one of these expat dudes out here that you can hit up and I drink with you all night. I ain't that guy. I'm going to tell you, hey, man, clean it up. That's the thing about me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of those fake-ass friends. If you're going to hang with me, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I hope you'll tell me the truth, too. Right? I hope you'll pull me to the side at some point because we all lose ourselves sometimes. I hope if you're a real friend, you'll pull me to the side and say, hey, man, BMT, you wilding a little bit. You need to chill out, bro. You need to slow down a little bit on the alcohol or stuff like that. All right, that's what true men do for each other. All right. But I've seen it, man. Like I said, I've seen guys, and this is just a couple of stories. I've had guys get caught up on Tusi. I've had guys start selling Tusi because they're doing it so much. For the life of me, I can never snip nothing upside my, in my nose. It's just not for me. Let me get the first super chat. Timothy Bright, 7064 with a $5 super chat, man. First super chat of the day. I really appreciate that. He said, I'm listening to you on my speaker, still not able to travel because of my disability. Yet I pay attention. How to move overseas. Image is very important. Yes, it is. Yes, it's very important. All right. And hopefully you get better with your disability, brother. I appreciate the $5 super chat, Timothy Bright. You always showing love. Man, appreciate that. All right. Hope to see you soon overseas. Let me get some of these trolls out real quick. But the reason I'm really expounding on this part, is because I've seen it so many times. I've seen so many guys, all right, lose themselves in this, I would say, passport bro space. Even more so the guys with the money. All right. I'll give you an example. You got a guy out leave the States. Let's say he up. Let's say he's sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars. All right. He might even have residual income coming in or something like that. But he has a low level of intelligence when it comes to the women. All right. He actually believes these women like him. He's never got the attention from women that beautiful before. All right. These women have hella game, especially in the Dominican Republic. All right. They got hella game. And he's sponsoring or taking care of these women, several of them. He's paying their rents and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing. Dudes be paying the girls rents. Rents be like $300-400 in some cases. And he's been doing that for 5 years, as well as paying his own expenses, as well as going out drinking and participating in the nightlife activities, as well as going to Quattro and going to, Fasados and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And he ends up going broke and having to return to the States. I've seen that before. Versus a guy that has a form of discipline, doesn't drink much, go out occasionally, has some income coming in, and he's on his 8th, 9th, 10th year overseas because he knows how to manage or discipline. He knows how to manage his emotions, and he knows some people can be full of shit. You know what I'm saying? He's supporting himself. Maybe he's in a stable relationship, okay? But he's able to live overseas, not because he just banked up rich. It's because he exercises financial discipline, physical discipline, and mental discipline, okay? Over the guy that left the States who was banked up and he had no discipline at all. All right? We've been flowing for a minute. All right, RW True TV says, hey, man, say, man. Hey, man, say, man. I'm not a babysitter. I'm going to look out for you once, maybe twice, then we're not hanging out after that. I feel you, man. Listen, in a lot of cases when you meet expats, it's not like you grew up with them or something like that. Not necessarily that, maybe he's not your family member or brother or cousin or something like that. These are grown-ass men, man. Hey, it's cold being a man. A real man going to tell you something once or twice and keep it moving. Because a lot of times you telling somebody something, they're not ready to change. They just going through what they're going through. Your job is to separate from that and not be dragged down with them. So I get what you're saying, Drip TV. You don't owe nobody nothing. Like you said before, tell you once or twice. I got a big heart though, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I care about people. So I'm gonna try to, steer you in the right direction. Maybe several times, because it's hard out here for black men already. And black men, sometimes they get, but sometimes they get, caught up in the freedom of being overseas. They're happy. So I get that part too. But they take it a little too far sometimes. All right. My man said, this is an important conversation that you're having with travelers. Yeah, man, I've been overseas for 6 years, bro. I've seen it all. Most of the guys I started a journey with, they're not even traveling no more. All right. They're not even traveling no more. All right, guys, like I said before, excuse the trolls. If I got any mods in here, make sure you like to ban some of these little whack-ass trolls in here. All right. Now, what I will do is I would drop a link in the channel. All right. If any guys want to pull up, if you gentlemen want to pull up, all right. Shout out my man, Travelversity. Like I said right here, this shirt was one of our biggest sellers right here. Shout out to my man, Travelversity, rocking the BMT shirt. All right, let me go ahead and put a link in the comment section. Maybe you guys got some stories yourselves. All right. Matter of fact, make sure I went through the whole entire list. Like I said before, man, this is like a precautionary tale. I know you guys are grown men, okay? And you do what you do. But this is another big one. This is another big one right here, family. This is big. Now, I've always said, matter of fact, let me pull up the shirt real quick. This is why this shirt is important, because a lot of people mistake what I said with this shirt. All right, this is another big seller too. Hold on. Where's it at? I'll put my man GA at. Okay, I just put myself up. Here we go. Hold on. All right. This leads into this. Bringing emotional baggage overseas. As you guys can see on the shirt, travel is cheaper than therapy, right? I said travel is cheaper than therapy. I didn't say it take place of therapy. Some of you gentlemen truly need therapy. Now, y'all know a lot of us grow up in broken homes, sketchy, dangerous environments. Some of us, still got, PTSD from some of the environments we grew up in, myself included, okay? I was telling my wife a couple of nights ago, I was like, listen, man, when my dad used to send me to the store for his Newports, because my dad was in the projects, my mom sent me to private school, suburbs, great area. Sometimes I'm in the projects. I'm 11, 12 years old. The journey from the project apartment doorstep to the store was a treacherous one for a 12, 13-year-old. You got to walk through crackheads, prostitutes, drug dealers, killers, all right, chomos, all types of shit just to get to the goddamn store and back, right? It's like a safari or some shit. Like you're going through all types of shit in this damn neighborhood. You try to navigate, they trapping over there, now let me go this way. You got this little crackhead everybody's scared of, who carry a big ass knife on him. He over here, and I know a lot of us grew up that way, right? But like I say, don't bring your emotional baggage overseas. Now, keep in mind, man, when you traveling and you see in different environments and you release yourself in an environment, yeah, that helps a whole lot. But if you got things you running away from, all right, they just gonna follow you overseas, bro. They just gonna follow you wherever you go. If you got unresolved issues from your childhood, I know therapy is not a big thing in our community, but sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you can't talk to grandma, or uncle, or even your own woman. Sometimes, man, it's best to maybe go get some help, bro. Like I said before, especially brothers, we have been through a whole hell of a lot. It's not normal growing up in a home without a father, bro. You see what I'm saying? It's not normal, taking care of the family and being a man in the house at 10, 12 goddamn years old. That's not a normal thing to go through. It's not normal to be raised in a very extremely dangerous environment. It's not normal to be running around with guns trying to kill each other, at 13, 14. I'm 13, 14, trying to kill another kid because he's trying to kill me. I had to realize that, okay, yeah, I got a little baggage up in there myself. I need to talk to somebody about this because that's not a normal thing to be hunting him. He hunting me and shit. I'm hunting him, 13, 14. So don't try to bring that emotional baggage overseas with you, man. Yeah, traveling is cheaper than therapy, but it doesn't take place of it. Okay? If you got to talk to somebody, man, talk to somebody, bros. All right? All right? Yeah, that was the ATL, man. Somebody said, we got a troll. We got some new trolls in it. 1993, 1994, man, I was in the middle of the damn crack epidemic. That was in the middle of the crack epidemic. You grew up in 93, 94 in the inner city, you were crackheads every goddamn where. Yeah, man. Fact. Shout out my man Dollar Will in the building. Dollar Will, man, you've been around for a minute, bro. I remember you back on the BGS. You talk about investing as well. Said fact, travel without therapy spread. Said, yeah, man. Yeah. It definitely will spread it. Hold on, let me I got your I saw your question. I'm gonna get your question in a minute, Timothy Bright. Hold on. Let me drop a link if anybody wants to pull up. Ignore the trolls. Get some of these trolls out of here. Somebody said 1993 was a good year. I think we had the starting codes out back then. All right, hold on, Timothy, bro. I got your super chat, but I think you asked a question. BMT, why in every video do you ask men the difference between dating foreign and Western women? Whenever I can travel, I want to work on detoxing. It's hard detoxing the matrix. I don't want to talk. Well, that's just a common question. Guys that are thinking about traveling overseas want to definitely know the difference. In their own experience of the guy I'm interviewing, what's the difference between, American women or domestic women and foreign women? That's a pretty common question that people want to answer. All right. All right, I got another super chat here by my man Timothy Bright. And I also dropped a link. Where'd the link go? I think I dropped the link. Hold on. Let me drop it one more time. I don't know where it went. Timothy said, man, you have haters tonight. Man, this is this little African dude that be biting everybody in China. He be biting Tariq. He be biting everybody in China. This is a little African dude. This is a little African cheddar dude. You be getting out trying to bite everybody channels. All right. Say B&T, good job as always. Yeah, man. Yeah, most definitely. But like I said before, bringing emotional baggage overseas. Guys, get some help. Get some mental help. You know, and I know we go through normal things like a middle-age crisis. Hell, I went through my little middle-age crisis at like, I would say about 39, 40 out there in Colombia. Yeah, I'm not talking about little light shit like that. But if you know, and because I know some guys are going through it, you know, and to go through it overseas can hit harder because you're not around your community. You know, you're not around community. People don't necessarily understand you. They're not meant to understand you about what you went through in your life. Now, I will say this. In my experiences, it's actually good to grow up in a sketchy environment to a certain degree because those same skills that you learn growing up in a dangerous neighborhood, you can apply those same skills overseas. Let me tell you something, man. I got lost in a barrio one day in Colombia. I believe it was Buenos Aires barrio. I think it was Buenos Aires out there in Medellin. I was looking for an apartment, a long-term apartment, and the owner didn't speak Spanish, didn't speak English. All right. So I got dropped off and I'm looking for it and I'm end up walking like it was a barrio pretty much next to the property. Right. So I'm walking through the barrio by myself, keep in mind, and I have to use my cell phone to kind of keep communicating with that person. I'm using my cell phone, I'm putting it in my pocket, using the cell phone, putting it in my pocket. All right. So it wasn't like, you know, knowing that, okay, this environment is a little sketchy. I'm not going to necessarily ask a random person, hey, where is this at? Where, you know, then they ask, you know, where's this name, this apartment complex or anything like that. I'm just trying to figure it out myself unless I see like a police officer or something like, or a female or something like that. You know, those type of skills will help, you know, anywhere in the world. Okay. And most of the guys that get robbed and drugged have come from suburban areas or safe environments growing up. I still try to tell friends of mine who didn't grow up a certain way that the hood feeds off evil, okay? And it's treacherous and women are very manipulative. They can be very evil too, but them guys still don't really get it. They still feel like it won't happen to them. But I'd be like, yo, it can happen to anybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they're ruthless. They don't give a F about you, your life. They just want to get where they can get up out you and move on. All right, bro. In Medellin, Colombia, some of the people will torture you, kill you, and go eat a sandwich. All right, and go around like nothing ever happened. Okay, I was in another barrio one time, and the guy that was scamming dudes out there, you know, he saw me, and luckily I was with who I was with. But he said, "Hey man, hey, don't you know this guy? Didn't you used to hang with this guy?" And I was like, this is in the middle of the barrio at like 11 o'clock at night. We had like a event. We had an event, a boxing event. And, you know, well, first off, when I got to the event, they was just like, basically check in, who you know. And I say the name, and like, okay, cool. You know, you gringo, you can hang out because since you know that guy. Same thing with favela in Brazil. But as I'm there, a guy approaches me, Colombian guy approaches me. And he said, hey, man, you still hang with this dude? I'm like, nah. He showed me a picture. I'm like, nah, I don't really hang with him. He was like, yeah, man, that guy owes me $8,000. I said, word? He's like, yeah, man, we're looking for him. Have you talked to him? And keep in mind, I had just talked to him like, because when I got back to Medellin, you know, I hollered at him. And I was like, hey, man, I'm back, such and such. So in my head, I'm like, damn, this dude is on my, I hope they'll check my phone because his name is in my recent, you know, phone list. You know, he's like, yeah, man, you know, and if somebody say they're looking for you in Medellin, in a barrio, they looking for you for some answers. So I tell him, I'm like, nah, I ain't really, you know, talk to Buddy. I wasn't really cool with him like that. You know, I hit him with the 1-2, like, I don't really know Buddy like that, you know, such and such and such. And then my other partner walks up, you know, that had a discrepancy with the same guy. These guys had hits out with each other and everything like that. And he was like, oh, nah, bro, don't mess with him either. You know, he cool. We weren't really rocking with him like that anyway, you know. So he was like, oh, okay, well, do me a favor. If you see him, Tell them such and such is looking for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it can get real. It can get real. So watch your associations overseas too. Put it to you that way. Hold on, I got another guy. Let me see. We got somebody in the room. What's going on, Azrael? That's you? Okay, I lost him. D May, shout out to my man D May with $99 Super Chat, man. I appreciate all the support. Can't wait to get you back on that basketball court, D May. And congratulations to you on your success with you and your family as well. I'm not gonna put your business out there like that, but congratulations to you as well, man. Can't wait to get back to you on the basketball court. All right, D May is a professional basketball player, but I did score on him several times. He got me on the win part, all right, because he's super in shape. He's super in shape. He's a professional point guard, so of course he ended up winning the one-on-one. I did score against him. He couldn't stop me from scoring. All right, but shout out to my man D May. Azrael, you was in the back end, brother. You was in the back end. Hold on. I had to drop another link. So why don't they hit the link and tell you? They're not haters, man. They trolls. They bots. Like I said, it's this little African dude that be making anti-passport bro videos and shit. He hates Black Americans. Funny enough, like I said, he hates Black Americans. He be botting everybody's channels. But that's just him. That's just him paying for little bots and shit. Like none of these people that's in the comment section are real. These are all bots. Paid for by the little African dude, the little dusty African dude. All right, I'll drop a link one more time, brother. All right. All right, I think we covered everything, family. I think we covered everything. The rap fantasies overseas, no financial foundation. All right. Confusing pros with genuine interests. All right. Not understanding the dating culture. All right. Overstaying visas, sticking around. And you know what? It's funny because I didn't mention my man BA. All right. Remember, we did an interview with him about him getting played in the Philippines. I know you guys saw that video. That video went viral. Everybody responded to it. But I would say not understanding the dating culture. Right. He fell victim to that. And you got to accept that, man. These women have passed. They have their own romances. Listen, it's a female out here, a very popular female out here in Pattaya, who used to come around with a guy, and she told everybody this Thai guy was her brother. Right? Fast forward, she just had a baby, and he's the baby daddy. So the whole time she doing her thing, she doing her. That wasn't her brother. That was actually her baby dad. All right. I think they got like two, 3 kids together. So you got to understand that dating culture that goes around in Dominican Republic. I didn't see it so much in Colombia. Colombia, the guys be jealous. So I don't really see that too much in Colombia. But definitely 100% the DR for sure. Dominican dudes be having 6, 7 girlfriends across the goddamn island. All right. Where we at? We talked about substance abuse overseas, bad advice from expats, bringing emotional baggage. Yeah, we covered everything. We pretty much covered everything, family. All right. I got another question, my man. Kevin, I just mentioned him, BA, Kevin Johnson. I just mentioned him, bro. All right. Timothy Bright asks, BMT, where are the places that's not hot to travel when everyone else has made their stomping grounds? I don't want to go to the DR, Colombia, Thailand, a little bit of Vietnam and Cambodia. The Nang is nice if you go in the right time of the year. Thailand is still a good play. Thailand, these cities, it's a whole bunch of cities in Thailand that you can go to, bro. That you can avoid the mass tourists. It's a whole bunch of little cities you can go to in Thailand. So I wouldn't necessarily take Thailand off the list. Same thing with the DR. I love San Domingo. San Domingo is not really necessarily known as a tourist spot, but San Domingo has a lot going on, especially with the rooftops and some of the other places. Okay. And we've been working on that too. We have compiled so much information to go into the next version of the passport goes out. All right. I'm not going to announce it just yet because we're still in development, but you're going to be able to have all the information, my information, as well as information data from 30,000 other well-traveled bros that we've collected over the last almost 10 years, because I've been collecting information for a long time. All right. Updated information. So I'm going to release that soon. So keep in mind. Okay. We don't want to give away all our gems. Okay. But, Cambodia is nice. I will say that. Cambodia is nice. I like Cambodia. Okay. I like Vietnam. Great question, Benny the Boom. What's the best country to raise a family? I would say Thailand. Because it's safe. And it's a tolerance for other races of people here too. All right. Like I look at a lot of comment sections and I be seeing certain things in like when I look at some of my wife's social media, or she's looking at stuff, and I read some of the comments, or she tell me what this mean, this, that mean. And I can honestly say they're very tolerant to, other races of people like that. All right. And they identify the nationality over just the skin complexion, which I really admire, because we don't have that luxury in America. If you're black, you're black. You could be Nigerian, you can be Haitian, you can be whatever, commit all types of crimes, you're just going to be black. So they differentiate that. So I would say Thailand is definitely a good play to raise a family. There's a ton of things to do in Bangkok and Pattaya and all these places. The cost of living is good, so you can kind of raise a family. You don't have to bust the bank down. They do plan on building a Disney World out here. From what I'm hearing rumors of a Disney World. I'm hearing rumors that they connected all 3 airports together, so you'll be able to take the train straight from the airport in Bangkok to Pattaya. And I hear the rumors about some casinos coming out here. So they got hella buildings they're being built. I would say Thailand out of all of them, checks on the markers. Because if I was in Colombia and Brazil raising a family, man, I would have to get some damn security or some shit. In my opinion. Or I would have to really make my children abreast and my wife abreast to what goes on out there. Like, hey, you got to be extremely careful. And they're not necessarily used to that, because they coming from a very safe society. Don't get me wrong, crime still goes down out here. There's a lot of crime out here, but nowhere near as the amount of crime in Colombia and Brazil. So I would choose Thailand over every place. J Raz in the building says, Aaron, when are you going to show up with a panel of us born, married, lockdown brothers abroad? We can do it real soon, man. We can do it real soon. I'm going to tap on out, but we can do it soon. J Raz, I'll hit you on Facebook, bro. I'll hit you on Facebook. You know what, man? I love being married. I ain't going to lie. I love being married. You have the right one, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. She still be nagging and shit now, but hey, it's a blessing. We got to get the right one. All right. Many like the Philippines because they speak English. I got Timothy Bright in the building. Can you rent land for agriculture since you can't buy? Man, I'm going to tell you, that's real sketchy. It's real sketchy out here, bro. Listen, right now, you had a lot of business owners that were claiming, and I knew this was going to end bad, that they own their businesses 100% all outright. Thailand is cracking down on that shit because you posted only a minority share of that business, and a Thai person is supposed to own the other share of the business. Okay. So I would be very careful in the concerns of anything dealing with land or businesses out here. They are really cracking down. I just read a story yesterday where they cracked down on like 101 businesses. The police showed up to I think it was like a hotel or a hostel, and they're basically saying that the Thai nominee was just a name on paperwork. They wasn't the actual owners, and they had no say or share in the profits. So they're cracking down a lot in Thailand, bro. And on top of that, they're seizing these properties. They're seizing these businesses. They're seizing these houses. The government is taking these houses away, okay, from the foreign owners. They're taking these businesses. So you hear a lot of that. So I would be careful in concerns of any ownership outside of a condo in Thailand. All right. I would stay away from renting land personally. Land is even more sketchy out here. Timothy Bright. Expat living on, she said, I'm married in Thailand. You know what's funny, man? I went to the embassy. I went to the U.S. embassy to do some paperwork. Because you got to do paperwork when you get married here. And it's like 30, 40 men in there, all older gentlemen, white guys. There's actually an African guy in there. I know it's mostly white guys, black guys, all getting married. All getting married to Thai women. So, hey, you figure it out. You figure it out. Scary Swim says, but I heard the rules change every month in Thailand and it's a real pain. Yeah, they don't do the thing where in America it's a process. They just kind of do it overnight. Another thing is, listen, I'll say this. I'm not going to go too deep into detail, but Asia is for the Asian, and specifically Thailand is for the Thai people. I'll leave it at that. Okay? I'll just leave it at that. So when you got these guys, and I've heard it so many times, yeah, I own my business 100%. I'm the only guy that own my business out here 100%. I just look at him, I just be like, brother, you can't legally own your business 100% out here. So even if you do own your business 100% out here, it's still illegal. That might not be something you want to tell everybody. Anyway, many proposals in Thailand that don't come to fruition. Yeah, that's true. But I think the Disney World is going to happen. I believe the Disney World. Now, I don't know about the casinos, but I think the Disney World is going to really happen. What up, Azrael? Hold on, let me bring you on. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Them bots are crazy.
You don't have no audio. Let me make sure.
Testing.
I hear you now.
How am I coming in?
You coming in good, brother? We hear you.
Yeah, how's it going? Them bots in there are crazy, man. It's like I'm clicking my life away. But I want to say you put out what you get out what you put in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I notice certain people, and it's not to be judgy or try to be cliquish, but I notice like there are certain guys that'll be like they'll see a American woman or a black woman do something crazy on a like a manosphere video, and then they'd be like, "That's why I'm getting my passport," and it's like, nah, buddy, it's not that simple. It's not a. I think a lot of people be like, "Oh, some dudes they're not really serious about it. Others they have an idea of it, but they don't know how to put the groundwork and investment that's needed, right? Like, God willing, I'm trying my hardest to be in Brazil by the end of the year. It's a little grind, it's a little tedious, but it's in the works. But it takes time, right? So, for example, prime example, you mentioned a lot of things. A couple things I wanted to add on too. And it's funny you're talking about that substance abuse stuff. That is very true. It's like if you're disciplined, if what you do in one thing, you're doing everything, right? And it's about discipline. But knowing the visa requirements so that you wouldn't be hemmed up, like you said, with paying that $125, right? I know, for example, I have to either make $1,500 a month, which is not hard. It's just about finding the remote work to do so. Or I have $18,000 in savings. But guys will say,
is that for Brazil?
Yeah, that's for Brazil, to get the digital nomad visa, right?
Okay.
There are other avenues, of course, you said about teaching and doing IT work. But I would suggest having like two sources of income just in case, because the way I do it, I prefer that I would want to have a family down there to be either that or if anything, I'm never going to retire in America. That's for sure. If anything. Right. But these are things that take time that you have to do to study. You have to do research. We haven't even mentioned learning the language. Right. I take Portuguese lessons 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
That's a big one.
Right. I have my books. I have a bunch of books. Right. Let me see if I have like this book. Hold on one sec. I got this book, right? And I got like a little manual thing, but I'm trying to find it. But long story short, I'm doing the work. I have the books. I'm paying for the lessons. I'm always learning. I'm looking up living in Brazil as a U.S. expat or living a digital nomad life as an expat. How can I create extra income? How can I get, because I'm working on, actually, my parents are Jamaican, but I can get dual citizenship. That would have helped me because even though I have a U.S. passport, now the visa for Brazil, to get into Brazil, it lasts 10 years, but you got to pay $100. If you if you're from Brazil, if you're from the U.S., Canada, London, in the U.K. and Australia, right? Any pretty much Western countries. But if I had a Jamaican passport, I wouldn't have had to pay for that, right? So those are little nuanced things that guys got to do their research. Like, you got to be passionate about this. You can't. And I know a lot of guys. I was thinking about creating my own. I have a channel that I'm thinking about creating. I just gotta have the time to do it. But I wanted to put out a video, 10 reasons why you shouldn't become a expat or a passport bro. And it's basically explain word for word, like, things that you have to do. You have to make sure you're in shape, right? Because you also have to provide yourself with health insurance. But you don't want to be stuck out in a place where your health is failing you and you're in another country.
Oh, right? I missed that. So you provided some good points. Healthcare is very important too.
Right. You have to have healthcare when you're in these other countries too. So there's little nuanced things. And when in Rome, do what the Romans do. I can adapt to almost anywhere. I never really have no issues. What you said about the therapy thing is true. It's two things I want to add to that. One, guys have to understand, don't take the whole I'll put it this way, the Negro version of how you interact with other people. Do not take that outside of the country. So the mean mugging, the passive aggressiveness, you shouldn't be going to Brazil or Thailand or Colombia mean mugging other dudes, other brothers in there.
You know what? It's so funny you say that, man. I remember being in Medellin on Calle Diaz, and it was some guys, I think they were from Miami or something. They ended up being from Florida or some shit. And they were mean mugging. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here like, damn, you bringing that shit overseas, bro? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is. People have to be honest with yourselves. Not everybody's cut out for it. If you know you have a hard time acclimating to other people's cultures, don't. At best, the most you should do is just travel for a couple of days, and that's about it. Prime example, you know how it is in Brazil. If you going up, not to say it's a bad or a good thing, but in a lot of situations, they don't understand the concept of personal space sometimes, right? So you're gonna be in a situation where that, not to say that person is bad or they're dumb or anything like that, but it's like in certain cultures that the concept of personal space is not necessarily a big thing, right? So
bro, I wish I would have learned that. That's the one thing that I had to, get used to, because Brazil's like that. I don't know. It's not so much. Colombia, they give you space, but Brazil and Thailand definitely like that. Not from the Thais, but just from other Asians. There's no personal space.
I mean, I was in. How many times I was in when I was in Japan? How many times I'm taking pictures with me and my uncle, because I took him to Japan with me, and like we're taking pictures, and someone photobombs us, but it wasn't out of malice or to try to ish on us, right? It was out of just being cool. That's the thing that Asians do a lot, especially in Japan and South Korea. Like you'll be taking a picture and then they'll come in like this, and I didn't think nothing of it. But if you're of that mentality, like that dude you talking about crashing out, then you're like, yo, what you doing? Why you trying to get into my picture? Oh, you invading the personal space. It's like, no, these people don't mean any harm by it. It's just it's a cultural thing. When in Rome, you do what the Romans do, right?
Now, I will say this, bro. There's been times where you be in a club here in Thailand, and you might be using the bathroom at the stall, and guys will come up behind you and start giving you a massage and everything because they want the tip, and that's like where we from. That's like automatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an automatic. You know what I mean?
You know,
But
crazy. I
that's
thought
one
you
thing.
said he was somebody being next to the stall to you, and there's like a bunch of stalls that are empty.
Yeah, well, that part too. But the guys coming up and massaging your back while you pissing shit, that shit's just totally awkward, bro. Totally awkward. You know, I had to get used to that shit. Now I know that they go inside the stall, the one with the door. You know,
Yeah.
go to one of the door because they'll just walk up to you and start, hey, massaging you and shit. You be like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? You touching me? My dick in my hand, bro. Are you crazy?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
It's a different. It's some things you gotta get used to when you travel, man.
yeah. Especially, I know you know about Brazil. You know, I love my Brazilians too. But you know, there's a thing of them not being on time. You know, so
Hmm.
that can be an issue.
Oh,
I
shit.
was
Yeah.
I was photo bombed actually. I was photo bombed like 3 times in Shinjuku as well.
You know what's funny, man? I would say that. I mean, they flake in America too, but in Colombia, that's a flaky ass culture. If you want to go out with a Colombian woman, you want to schedule that thing about 4 times.
I know you told me. I remember you used to say
And,
that.
and, she, and, she, and she'll link up with you. As a matter of fact, my second girlfriend in Medellin, I scheduled dates with her. I think she came on the because she was just so pretty. I was like, I just kept trying. I'm like, fuck it,
Ah,
because I knew she was gonna cancel the first time. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know the culture, so I know she's gonna cancel the first time. Then test my temperament. You know what I'm saying? See if I'm gonna text her back. That's why I talk about understanding the dating culture because most guys take it personal that she flaked on you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still gonna go out and have a good time anyway.
right,
So she flaked on me once, then twice. After the third time, she actually showed up. We had a great time. We became boyfriend and girlfriend.
right. See now, but if it was in the States, they'd be like, "Oh, she playing games, and that there's mind games," and you know the dating coaches would be like, "Oh, you a simp for that? You know, you're a beta. You allowed her to waste your time." Like you know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
like you need to
yeah.
have an abundance mindset. But it's like, I mean, that's the culture, man. That's the culture. I mean, I've heard people say like, "Oh, when they dated a like woman," I've heard Brazilian women say, dating a American or European guy forced them to be more punctual with time because they just it's so normal to
Hmm.
just not show up at the exact time. I mean, and this is why it kills me when people say all women are the same. It's like no, I mean culture dictates a lot. In Germany, people if they say 8:30, they're going to be there 8:30, right?
Hmm.
If you're dating a like say a German woman. If you show up like 10 minutes late, she's probably gonna be ticked off. And that goes for man or woman. Like there I've been to Germany before. Like there before I went there, people were telling me like, hey, when you go there, make sure you walk the street, cross the street correctly. Because there will be people that be like, oh, and it's not nothing on no racist stuff. It's like, hey, you're not doing it rightly. You're not doing it correctly. They're like a lot of them have A type personalities. But then if you compare that to places like in South America and Brazil, people just lay back, chill. You know, they take their time to do everything. That might frustrate you because it's like, damn, why is it taking so long? You
Hmm.
have to acclimate yourself. And you have to understand, are you okay with this? Because
Hmm.
people might say, damn, I might prefer Germany. But here's the thing about Germany. If you're out with friends, let's say you
Hmm.
guys go out to dinner, or let's say, oh, you guys, people, there's a joke about this. Like, you go out for ice cream with a German person, and they're like, "Oh, you like, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough change," and they're like, "Oh, well, that's bad, like that's too bad," and they'll still go and eat the ice cream. They'll never be like, "Oh, let me buy it for you." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're not gonna do that. They're gonna be like, and they don't think nothing of it. It's like, oh well, like I've heard people say, even in I mean that goes for the Netherlands and in Germany as well.
Hmm.
They'll like if a girl if a guy and a girl are dating and he buys her like, hey, I bought you this bottle of wine, like he expects to be reimbursed back, right? So you as an American, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of weird. See, it's certain things and nuances that you have to understand that you have to acclimate yourself. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. They don't know how to just leave all the BS American culture behind you. Even myself, I have to work on this too because I know I have baggage from previous relationships. And I said, you know what? I literally, it's almost close to 2 years since I've been dating. I haven't dated at all. So I'm like, let me get this baggage out the way. Let me get my mind right before I embark again on dating, because I already told myself I'm not going to date again in America. So it doesn't make any sense to still try to invest in America. Let me get my mind right, and then I can reinvest into another country when it comes to dating. So that's another thing.
You know what I do like though. As far as dating in Brazil is concerned, the women will take you out sometimes. They'll take you out. That's the only country I've been in where they actually pay Thailand to a certain degree. But she'll meet you, take you out, pay for her own food, or pay for the meal, do your thing with her, and you might not even hear from her again. You know what I'm saying? So,
I've heard that too. I've heard that a lot.
Like they cosmopolitan in Rio, boy.
Yeah,
they cosmopolitan like a motherfucker in Rio, bro. Let me get super chat real quick. Shout out to my man Timothy Bright 7064. Once again, $2 super chat, man. I appreciate it. It's B-Dub. I like his comedy and wisdom. Bring him back, man. B-Dub ain't got no damn wisdom. But shout out to B-Dub. B-Dub, man, I think he had one of my numbers before. B-Dub type of dude that call you and cuss you out for being. He called me one day and cussed me out for being in the Dominican Republic. Grown ass man cussing me out, so I snapped back on him. I'm like, bro, don't call my phone. You in that shitty ass DR. It's people like you. You go to shitty ass countries, go to DR. DR is a trash man. And I'm sitting here like, bro, who the hell are you talking to like that? So, man, fuck B-Dub. You know what I mean? But, hey, man, do not listen. The concerns of B-Dub, he got some travel experiences, man, but he's a unique character. Do not take everything he say, or take everything he say with a grain of salt, because his experience is not going to be your experience. Getting robbed in Cartagena, running from people in Cartagena, jumping over on hoods of cars and shit. I mean, he's a weirdo, bro. But fuck B-Dub. Anyway.
I did get some good advice for B-Dub when it come to Europe, but outside of that, yeah, I can see what you're saying. He hates.
No, man, I don't play that shit when people call my phone talking about some shit I should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I didn't know you did that.
No, that's why I said he called my phone when I was in DR talking about how shitty DR is and why people like you, people like you that be in these shitty ass countries, you in the fucking DR, left me a voicemail. You know what I'm saying? then he talking about some money. Hey, I've made you money, and you haven't given me anything. I'm like, nigga, you out here begging for money, nigga. You came on my show. What I owe you for coming on my show? You know what I'm saying? You came on my show. But yeah, man, fuck B-Dub. Anyway, so I know you would like that. You tell him I said that shit too. Fuck B-Dub. But yeah, man, we've been chopping up for a minute, bro. I'm gonna go ahead. I like to keep it streams about an hour and a half, 2 hours, bro.
Sure.
I appreciate you coming on. You want to got me the BMT shirt too, didn't you?
No, not as of yet, but I am on the app though. But it's crazy because I have so many pictures, but I haven't posted on it. But I'm subscribed to the app.
Okay. Bet. Oh man, we got some. The new version. You gonna love the new version, bro.
Yeah.
You gonna love the new version, man. Like
I was like, yeah, go ahead.
The app's so hot right now, man, that they trying to get involved. Like the big wigs trying to get involved. We almost got 10,000 people now. So
sure.
We will build up our community. Guys are giving really good information, and we're setting it up to where guys can financially benefit off the information that they give on the app. Like we have a travel intel app. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate you being patient with us as we're in development. And I want to give a shout out to my developer too, man. Shout out to my developer working hard and everything like that, bro.
For sure. It's crazy. Last thing I'll say this, I have a bunch of pictures. Maybe I need to start doing that now. It's instead of like on my off days, just relaxing. It's probably like, because I got like photos, Prague, Lisbon, Tokyo, Berlin, all over the place. I need to start posting up pictures, like good pictures that are like Instagram quality pictures. I need to start posting them.
Man, and like I say, the information too. Like the information is valuable, bro. Like I always when I travel, I always recommend places to stay because that's a big deal. Americans, we have a certain standard, especially as bougie black people. We got a standard, right? Yeah. And I've been in some of the dingiest hotels, the Airbnbs, and I've been in some nice ones. Right. So I always kind of mention, hey, this is where This is a nice area. This is where I'm staying at. I feel safe. Like the last Airbnb I stayed at. Matter of fact, it wasn't even an Airbnb. I actually got it off Agoda.com. If you guys not familiar with Agoda, that's like one of the best places to stay in Asia is through Agoda. But man, I was in the Phnom Penh, and I used to stay in a certain Airbnb, but it was booked up. So I booked this place. I get to the building, and it's a little dude downstairs who just like, "Oh, are you by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm by myself." And he was like, "Matter of fact, if I can find a video, I might play it here." He's like, "Oh, you don't need 2 beds. I'm gonna give you, 1 bedroom suite." This was like $15, no, $20 a night, by the way, bro. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, cool. Go up to the apartment, bro. It's just beautiful, lavish, nice, bro. I mean, high ceilings, big ass view. My wife was just like, damn. I was like, yeah, like this is a nice ass apartment. So I will mention things like that on the app. Like, hey man, come to this building. It's in a great area. Everything is nearby. You know what I'm saying? You can get a tut-tut to Boxlock Lane for like $3. You'll be right here. Walker Street is not far away. You walk this from Walker Street. So that's the biggest thing about the app is the recommendations on it, right? Because I can tell you, like when I first went to Vietnam, bro. When I first went to Vietnam, I didn't know handle it. I was chat GPTing, Googling shit. Hey, what's the hip hop clubs? Nothing. Well, they mentioned like one little hip hop club. But when I met a brother out there, he started putting me on the different spots. And we ended up going to, like I said, if it weren't for me meeting that brother in Da Nang, Vietnam, I would have told you, hey man, that shit boring, don't go. But by me meeting him, he took me to a club. Catch this, right? Peep this, Azrael, peep this. He took me to a club with Brazilian women in it.
Damn.
All right. Japanese women in it. I'm married now, so I'm just looking at the eye candy. You know what I'm saying? My hands off here, brother. But at the same time, it's just like, damn, they got Brazilian girls that living in Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's up, bro. So the experience totally changed, right? And my friend who I interviewed, he was saying how much he did not like Da Nang until that night.
Let me tell you, Da Nang, like I agree with you. You would definitely have to know where you're going. But Da Nang, if you gave me $1 million right now, I would just move to Da Nang right now, for sure.
Right.
It's like
the thing about Da Nang is you got to go in the right time of the year.
Yeah, but it's like the South Beach of Asia, really.
It is, man. But the weather kind of threw me off for a bit too. And you know what? Another thing with the thing, you got a Latino club. I don't know if you went to that little Colombian light ties club. So, and the Vietnamese people are very cool, laid back, love them to death, man. So, I just recommend all the information on the app because I'm not gonna put it in a Facebook group where it's a bunch of haters and you're gonna ruin the country, bro. You're gonna ruin it. You're gonna ruin Vietnam. Like the fuck out of here, bro. Like we vibing, we chilling. All right. Yeah, let me go get up out of here, man. Go get up out of here, man. I gotta watch the little one, brother.
Blessed to you and your family, man. I hope your family's doing okay, man. Congrats as well on your marriage and your family. I'm happy to see that. I always brag now. Anytime people talk about the panel, I'm like, everybody. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's plenty of people married. I'm like, BMT married, Austin engaged. You got what's his name? Andre is married. Now we can say we got the cachet, we got the receipts. We always had the receipts. But they used to say, "Oh, well, you're not marrying these women." It's like, boom. For me, for sure, I'm the next one. Hopefully, before I'm 40, I'm 30 now. But for sure, I'll be one of you guys for sure. Be married.
Hey, I would say, hey, take your time with it, man. You're still pretty young. Take your time with it. I did an interview with O'Shea. Shout out to my man O'Shea New Jackson. I did an interview with him. He should be releasing it, soon. And he was asking me a lot of questions about, the marriage and everything like that. And I told him, I said, hey, man, as an older guy, I just know how to pick them now. When I was younger, I didn't know how to pick them. I was like most brothers. Oh, she got a big booty. My first girl, she got a big booty, red bone. Oh, married.
I'm guilty.
That shit lasted like a year and a half, bro.
Right. I'm guilty as charged. My last ex looked like she could be related to Vanessa Williams, but it was hell on earth. My mom used to be like, when I used to leave her house, my mom used to look at me like, damn, why are you so stressed out? She's like, my mom can look at me like, you look stressed as hell. And I used to have like gray hairs popping up randomly, like in my eyebrow, mustache, a little patch of gray hair here. Now, since I'm single, I don't get them gray hairs no more.
Hey man,
You know, but
I say you get older, bro. You know how to pick them, and then a wife is a good thing to have, bro, because we all getting a little older. That our body's changing. We slowing down a little bit. It's good to have somebody that's going to look out for you. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing, and I believe that a lot of brothers, men in general, but a lot of brothers, they deserve that, man. They deserve to have a good woman in their corner, bro.
It's crazy. I was listening to one of Austin's YouTube videos, right? And somebody in the comment section was like, they never thought black women could be this nice to them until they went to Brazil.
You know what? You know what's funny, but you say that because
I was like, yeah, go ahead.
No, when I was in Colombia, bro, when I was in Medellin, and I was meeting all the sisters, all the Afro-Latinas, I was so excited because I was just like, I never knew that black women could act like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I never knew that we can. Now, hold on. Before I say that, I'm not saying that black women don't cook. I'm not saying they all bad. I am not saying that by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I always thought that black women were just black women. But when I got to Colombia, I was just like, damn, she feminine as fuck. Dark skin Afro-Latina.
Right.
Like, she don't have nothing like the women in the States. Nothing like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was super excited about that, man. Yeah, let me go and get up out of here, bro.
All right, man. Take care. I'll catch you.
Peace.